Hello guys, welcome to Surveying Solutions, your number one channel where you get solutions to all your surveying problems. It's nice having you in class today. I hope we are all doing fine. Today we are going to look at cadastral subdivision. This is the question or the problem we have with us. They say share the parcel of land between Felicia and Anna in the ratio of 1:2, starting from point A. So the coordinates of the points we are given to us, they are northern and they are eastern, and their northern values. So they said we should share this parcel of land between Felicia and Anna in the of 1:2, starting from a point. So these were actually the condition they gave to us, the ratio and the points we are going to start. So there are some things we need to note. In carrying out subdivisions. I actually did not get this thing from any text, so it might not be actually what you find in a text, but from my experience in carrying out computation, I have to curate, or let's say write this thing out, and I hope and I believe that it will help you, or it will guide you in carrying out subdivision survey in cadastral. So the first thing is important points to note. First, carry out the back computation of the points. That's the first thing. Then draw a sketch of the parcel of land. That's the next thing. Give an estimate of how the subdivision should go according to the instruction given or the specification given. The next thing is compute the area of the whole parcel. That's the next thing. Then subdivide the area according to the ratio given. Ratio 1:2, ratio 2:1, ratio 1:3, any other ratio. Remember, during the sketch, there was an unknown point in one of the parcel. By the time we get there, you see it. Remember, during the sketch, there was an unknown point in one of the parcels. Now, try to find the coordinate of that point. Likely, compute the area of the new subdivided portions and also perform back computation of such points. The next thing is having determined the coordinate of the new points in the subdivided portion, perform a check by using that coordinate, the coordinate of that point, to calculate for the area again of the subdivided portion. So this is actually, let's say, a summary of what we are going to do. So I just felt I should write it down for us, so that in case we need to know it, we just have to get that information. So the next thing is that we are going to start. So the first thing is that we should calculate the back computation of the points. And now, performing back computation of points, we've actually explained that on one of our videos. So I will have to leave the link of that video on the description section. So please, if you don't really understand how to carry out the back computation of points, you should just check the description section. You will see the link there, and then you just go there, you watch it. So the first thing is that you arrange your coordinates A to E, then you repeat A. By the time you arrange it A to E and you repeat A, you can now start your back computation. So we have the from, bearing, distance, delta northern, delta eastern, your partial coordinates, then your northern and eastern. So how do you get your difference? That is your delta northern and your delta eastern. The second minus the first, the third minus the second, the fourth minus the third, and so on. So by the time you are subtracting them, you get the values of your delta northern and your delta eastern respectively. As I said earlier, the video for performing back computation is actually on the channel. We are going to leave a link on the description section where you can access that video, and then you get a full explanation on how you are going to carry out your back computation. Are we together, please? Are we together? It's alright. So having explained that, the next thing we are going to do is that I just still want to explain it, but okay, by the time you now get your delta northern or delta eastern, on your calculator we have rec and pole. So since we are looking for delta northern and delta eastern, we are going to use pole. Since we are looking for distance and bearing, rather, we are going to use pole. So we say shift minus, rather, then the pole comes out. Your delta northern, your delta eastern, which is 290, your delta eastern, which is 69.950. 69.950. So you have something like this. Your distance is 298.317, and then your bearing is alpha y degrees. Your bearing is 13 degrees 33 minutes 39.69 seconds. That's your bearing. So having established that, you can get the full description on the You can get the full video on the description section there. So the next thing I said we are going to do is that we are going to do what? We are going to calculate the area. We are going to do what? We are going to calculate the area. So in order for us to calculate the area, the next thing we are going to do is this. So to calculate area, we've actually given a full video on how to calculate area using coordinate method. I'm still going to leave the link to that video on the description section, where you can have a full explanation on how we are going to do what? How you are going to compute for area of any parcel. So the first thing is you write out what? The coordinates of the point, and you repeat the first point. So we have A to E, and then you do what? You repeat A again. So we are using cross coordinate method. So this multiplied by 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 this. So as you're multiplying them, you write their product here. You multiply this, you write the product here. You multiply this, you write the product here. You multiply this, you write the product here. And make sure that you do what? You store the values on what? The calculator. So when you carry out the computation and everything, I want us to check the video out where we'll see the full explanation on how to do what? On how to calculate or how to compute for the area of a parcel. So the area we got for the whole parcel was this: 67268.839 square meter. Are we together? It's alright. Please, I know you might be thinking, why am I not explaining? Just for us to what? To go straight to the point, because these things have been explained on a previous video. So the next thing we want to do what? Is we want to subdivide this according to the ratio given. So the ratio given to us was what? 1:3 on the question. So it means 1 belongs to Felicia, and then the other one, 1:2 rather. 1 belongs to Felicia, 1:2. 1 belongs to Felicia, and 2 belongs to what? 2 belongs to Anna. Are we together? So the next thing we want to do, we want to divide the plot of land or the parcel of land, as the case may be, in that ratio. So how do you do that? You add 1 and 2 together, it will give you 3, which is the value you have on your denominator. So for each person, it will now be 1 over the sum. That sum is that 1 plus 2, which is 3. So 1 over 3 multiplied by the what? Multiplied by the total area. Are we together? So by the time you do that, we have 67268.839 divided by 3. So we have 2242.946. Are we together? So that's the area that belongs to Felicia. Then for the second one, which is 2 over 3 divided by 2 over 3 multiplied by total area. So it's the same thing as multiplying this by 2, but for the avoidance of doubt, let's say 2 over 3, which is this, then multiplied by total area of 67268.839. So we have 4485.892 square meter. Are we together? Are we together? Now we've actually not explained the subdivided parcel. We've actually not explained the subdivided parcel. So let's now explain how we did the sketch rather. We've not explained how we performed the sketch. So from the back computation, we were able to see that from A to B, the bearing is what? 13 degrees. So it's actually on the first quadrant. So we move from A to B. You should make sure that you get it approximately, because since you're not using any compass or protractor or whatever the case is, so it might not be accurate, but just make sure you get it approximately. Then from B to C, we say we have what? 109. And 109 is actually on the second quadrant, almost the beginning of the second quadrant. So we go to C. Then from C to D, we have 190. 190 is on the what? On the third quadrant, almost at the beginning of the third quadrant. Are we together? Then from what? From D to E, we have 276. Same thing. 276 is actually on the fourth quadrant, at the beginning of the fourth quadrant. So we go to this place. Then the next thing is what? From E to A, which is actually the closing line, we have what? 310. And you can see that 310 is also on the fourth quadrant. So this is actually a sketch. Your own sketch might be better than this, but the most important thing is that ensure that the elements you got from the back computation is well spelled out on your sketch, because it will help you a lot when you want to proceed. Are we together, please? So 13, 109, 190, 276 and 310. So they say we should start from what? From point A. So you can see that we started from point A and then we subdivided up to this point. So this is where the subdivision ended. So from A, Z, D, E belongs to Felicia. Then from A, Z, C, B belongs to Anna. You can see that by looking at it from the merge sketch, you can see that the portion of Anna is bigger than the portion of Felicia, because Anna has the second and then Felicia has the first. Are we together? When I mean the second, Anna's ratio is ratio 2/3. Felicia's ratio is ratio what? 1/3. So that's what I meant. That's what I meant by that. Are we together? The first thing is that we are starting our subdivision from A. So this is where the subdivision line stopped. It actually fell on line CD. So this is where the subdivision point fell rather, which is Z. We called it Z. And then the next thing now is that we now come to this place. Remember that ABCZ. Now where is ABCZ? This is ABCZ, which is the portion that belongs to Anna. Are we together? Remember that ABCZ is equal to what? ABC plus what? ACZ. Now, how did we get ACZ? The reason why we joined this line AC is for us to be able to calculate the area of ABC. This ABC is actually part of Anna's plot. Then this AZDE is Felicia's plot. Are we together? But in this Anna's plot, we now divided this Anna's plot into two again. That's why you see what? ABCZ is equal to what? ABC plus what? ACZ, which is what? ABC plus what? ACZ. Are we together? So remember that in ABCZ, we have ABC plus what? ACZ. Now, what do we mean? ABCZ is actually this whole plot that belongs to what? That belongs to Anna. And from our subdivision, we've calculated the area that our own area is what? 44,845.892. That's the subdivided plot that belongs to what? That belongs to Anna. Are we together? So it will now be this is equal to ABC. Now, this ABC, we can actually compute the area of ABC because we know their coordinates. The way we computed for the area of ABCE, the whole plot, that's the same way we can compute for the area of what? ABC. So now this is the place we computed for the area of ABC. As I said earlier, for you to get the full video on how to compute for area, you will see the link to that particular video on the description section. So we actually computed for the area of ABC and we got what? 30644.266. That's the area of ABC. So we now bring it here. ABCZ, which we've actually explained, is equal to ABC plus ACZ. Now we cannot compute for the area of ACZ because we don't know the coordinate of Z. Remember that this Z is a new point, and this point was actually where the subdivision line, fell. That was why I used a red line for this and a black line for this so that I can show the distinction between the two lines. This is actually the subdivision line. Then this other line is the line inside a subdivided portion. Are we together, please? It's alright. So remember that ABCZ is equal to ABC plus ACZ, and we actually know what ABC is, which is this area ABC, and we actually know the area ABCZ, which is the portion that belongs to Anna. So by the time we carry out the subtraction, which is 44,845.892 minus 36,444.266, we have something like what? 14,201.626. So this is actually what? The area of ACZ. But we will confirm later if this area is actually correct. So this is the area of what? ACZ. So if you now come, you will see that ACZ is a triangle. ABC is also a triangle. So since we don't know the coordinate of Z, we cannot use the what? We cannot use the coordinate method to compute for the area. So we are going to use the conventional method in calculating the area of triangle, which is equal to what? We are going to use area equal to half the base times height sine theta. So the base here is what? CZ. The height here is what? AC. Then sine theta, the included angle. Are we together? Please make sure that you take your time to follow this lesson because it's very, very important. Now, the next thing we are going to do is that we actually know the area we got from making ACZ the subject of the formula. So by the time we got that area, we are now going to use it to do what? We are now going to use it to calculate for this side CZ, because we don't know the value of Z. That's why we are still taking all these steps. So the next thing now is that area is equal to what? Half CZ, which is this base, times height, which is AC sine theta. So we already know that the area of this ACZ is what? 14201.626 equal to half CZ. We don't know what CZ is, but we actually know what AC is. How did we know the distance of AC? Remember that we calculated the area of ABC. We also carried out back computation of ABC. That's why you need to watch those videos. I'm going to leave their link on the description section. Please, you just need to watch so that you'll understand how to carry out back computation and how to compute for area. Are we together? So before we calculated the area, we carried out the back computation of ABC. So carrying out that back computation of ABC was able to make us to know what the distance between what A and C, or the distance between what C and A, which is what we are going to use at this point now, which is the distance AC. So the distance AC we computed was what? 344.442, which is what? 344.442 multiplied by this angle. Now at this point, I also want us to pay attention. This angle is actually the difference in bearing between, now the angle we are talking about is the angle here, is the included angle here. So how do you get the included angle here? Remember, there is a bearing here and there is a bearing here. There is a bearing CA and then there is a bearing CD. Simply put, you can just get the answer by subtracting this bearing from this bearing, which is actually the conventional method that students used to follow. What do I mean by that? We know bearing CA from this particular computation. We know that bearing CA is what? 230, 12, 44.42, 47.42. So we have what? 230 degrees, 12 minutes, 47.42 seconds minus the bearing of what? The next thing we are going to do is the bearing of CD. The bearing of CD we got here from our first computation is what? We have it as 190 degrees, 36 minutes, 46.74. So you see that the difference is what? 39, which is what we have here, 39 degrees, 36 minutes, 0.68 seconds. So that's actually the angle. Yeah. Now we can still use another method to get that angle, but for us not to spend longer time, let's just use this value we got here. So the most important thing, how did you get this angle? We use the difference between this bearing CA and this bearing CD. So what did we do? We say bearing CA, which is 230, minus bearing CD, which is what? 190. So make sure you take note of this very important point rather. Make sure you take note of this point. How did we get this angle here that we want to use in calculating for this CZ here? How did we get the angle? We got it by what? The bearing CA, which is what we got here, the back computation of ABC, 230, 12, 47.42, minus the bearing CD, which is what? 190, 36, 46.74. Are we together? So it gave us this included angle. So the next thing is we are now going to carry the computation out. So sine this answer will give us a particular value of this, multiplied by what? Remember that it is sine theta multiplied by AC, and AC we've actually gotten it as what? 344.442. So we have 219.556 CZ. Remember that CZ is still part of it. CZ over 2 equal to this. So for us to make CZ the subject of the formula, then we have to divide through by what? We have to now divide through by the product of this. Are we together? So cross multiply this multiplied by this, then this multiplied by this. So by the time you say 14201.626 multiplied by 2, you have this. which is actually on the what? On the numerator. Are we together? It's actually on the numerator, which is this. Then divided by this 219.556. Divided by 219.556. So this will give us what? The distance what? CZ. Are we together, please? Please, if at any point you missed it, you just have to pause the video and then rewind, get it, and then you continue, because that's the most important thing. So we've been able to know that this distance CZ, which is part of the subdivided portion that belongs to Anna, is equal to what? 129.367. How would you know that this answer is correct? Remember that this CZ is part of CD, so it cannot be longer than CD. So by the time you now come to CD, you find out that the distance CD is what? 300.697. So you know that yes, it's okay, because it's still within 300.697. At least you can continue. Are we together? So now the next thing is, now we've known the distance CZ. So having known the distance CZ, and then this CZ is actually on this bearing of CD. So we can use this distance CZ and this bearing of CD to actually determine or compute for the coordinate of what? Of Z. So how do we do that? That's the next thing. So the next thing I said there is that, so get the coordinate of Z, we use the distance CZ and the bearing CD. So the distance of CZ is what? 129.367, and the bearing CD, which we actually got from the beginning, is what? 190.3646.74. Is that not? So using these two, we are going to get the distance and the bearing. We are going to get the partial coordinates of delta nothing and what? Delta easting. So how do we do that? We are going to use the rec function on the calculator. So shift minus, the rec comes out. When the rec comes out, we are now going to use what? Distance comma bearing. Distance of what? 129.367, then comma the bearing. The bearing we are using is what? The bearing of CD, because CZ is actually on that particular line. Are we together? Good. So the bearing is what? 190 degrees 36 minutes 46.74 rather 46.74 seconds. Are we together? So we have delta nothing of what? 127.154, and we have delta easting of what? Minus 127.154 rather, and we have delta easting of what? Minus 23.826. Are we together? Hence the coordinate of Z from C. Remember that we are coming from C. Because we use the bearing of CD, and we also use the distance from the distance CZ, distance from C to Z. So we are using the bearing from C to D because it's on the same line. Therefore, hence to calculate the coordinate of Z rather from C, we now say the coordinate, or the northern coordinate of C plus or minus the delta nothing we got, and the eastern coordinate of C plus or minus the delta easting we got. Are we together? So what do I mean? We know the northern coordinate of C is what? 2520.860, plus we know that this delta nothing is what? Minus 127.154. So minus 127.154. This is actually the northern coordinate of Z, 2393.706. Are we together? So to get the eastern coordinate of Z, we come to this point. What's the eastern coordinate of C? We have 22095.520. Then plus, we have, this is minus, right? So we have minus 23.826. This is actually the eastern coordinate of that point, what? Of that point Z. Therefore, we now wrote it out that Z is equal to 2393.706 meter northern and 22071.694 meter eastern. So remember that on the notes we gave to us initially, we said, having determined the coordinate of the new point in the subdivided portion, perform a check using the coordinates of such points to compute the area of one of the subdivided portion. So we now know the coordinate of Z. And remember that there was a point where we needed Z to what? To calculate area, but we didn't use coordinate method. We used the normal conventional area of a triangle to do that. So I actually left this place for us. By the time you get to this place, having watched the video on how to compute for area and how to carry out back computation, you should be able to do what? Perform this check by yourself. So what you are going to do now is that this is actually the computed value of Z, 293.706, 22071.694. So you are now going to use this coordinate to perform what? The area, to calculate the area rather, to calculate the area. So by the time you calculate the area, you are going to get something like this. 14201.6969. Recall that the area of ACZ as computed earlier, we've actually computed the area of ACZ earlier by subtracting it from the main one there, by subtracting it from the full one. Remember, we say ABCZ is equal to ABC plus ACZ, and this is this ACZ. So we've actually computed that the area is what? 14201.626. And getting to this point, using the coordinate of Z, we still computed it to be what? 14201.6969. So you can see that the values of the area using the first method and using this last method to check the coordinate of Z, if actually that coordinate of Z is correct, gave us the same area. So we can now see that we've actually performed the subdivision of the points of the parcel. Rather, we've actually performed the subdivision of the parcel and we've actually what? Confirmed the coordinate of that point Z. I hope this class was interesting. I know it was a bit long, but we need to exhaustively explain some points so that we can always make reference to them in the future, because this is actually a class and then we don't have to skip some salient points. That's why we have to do all those things. So thanks for coming to class. I hope we've given solution on how to carry out subdivision of any parcel. So with the notes we gave it at the beginning and with the computation we performed during the class, I believe you can actually carry out subdivision of any parcel. Thanks for coming to class. If you are coming to our channel for the first time, please subscribe to the channel, and if you are a returning viewer, thanks for coming, and you can just leave a like there, and then if you have any question, just drop it on the comment section. We'll get back to you as soon as possible, and you can also contact us on any of our social media handles you can see on our channel there. So thanks for coming to class. Make sure you take your studies seriously, and make sure you stay safe. Until I see you next time, make sure you're good.